Thank you so much. And now we turn the spotlight on the corridors of power, this time through the lens of one of Nigeria's most prominent presidential spokesperson, Mr. Garba, who served as Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to President Muhammadu Buhari for 8 eventful years. His new book, according to the president, Lessons from a Presidential Spokesman's Experience, is already generating debate within political and media circles. It is an insider's account of power, perception, pressure, and the politics of statecraft. In his reflective memoir, Garba Shehu opens up on the triumphs and the trials of managing presidential messaging in a deeply polarized and fast-moving media landscape, while giving rare insight into the inner workings of Aso Rock during some of the nation's most turbulent moments, including the NSAS protests, the COVID-19 pandemic, and critical national security decisions. But beyond the headlines and press releases, what truly defines the legacy of presidential communication under the Buhari administration? How did Shehu navigate moments of national crisis, including backlash over silence or perceived opacity? And what does he now say about the criticisms often directed at the administration's public posture? From his encounters with the press to sensitive matters of national unity, democracy, and a growing distrust in government. Let's now speak with Mr. Shehu on his reflection on the time when he was in power. The book is here with me. I had only a few hours to go through, but it was quite an interesting read. Well, I'm Garba Shehu. It's good to see you.
Good to see you after 2 years.
You've not changed a bit.
Well, we're there. We're having a lot of rest because the pressure has moved away from us. That's the one.
It looks like the demons in the presidential villa are free from the demons of the presidential villa. Ruben Abati says as much.
Ask Ruben. We didn't see them. Maybe he chased them out. You know, Ruben is a powerful man as well. Maybe he chased them.
You got some marabouts to help you, ward them off.
No, I think Ruben cleaned up the place and we found that it was habitable, all right for daily business.
All right.
So we're okay throughout.
Has it been out of prominence and public spotlight?
It's a lot of pressure that is removed off your shoulders. As one philosopher said, it is the cup that they follow. If they remove it from your head and put it on another man's head, they will follow that person. So we are free of all of that now.
Wow. But you still speak for President Buhari. You still close with him.
Occasionally and certainly selectively also. We're not engaging in the manner that we used to.
Okay. So your loyalty still lies with him?
Oh, absolutely. We're together.
How do you balance it? A lot of people don't know that you were a very close man to Atiku Abubakar.
Yeah, he was my boss.
In fact, you were seconded from Atiku Abubakar to work with Buhari.
I don't know what to call it. I'm not sure seconded is because seconded.
But you were gifted.
Like a football player, maybe after a season you will go back to your. I think that was well something like that, yes, because the assets they had for media and communications, not himself, including Shehu Bola Tinubu and all of the candidates who lost that primary to Muhammadu Buhari, they said, "Go, you work for him," and graciously. Muhammadu Buhari found me worthy of leading his presidential campaign, and when we won, he gave me a job. So that's where we are.
So how did you manage? Because there are times that Atiku came after your government that you were speaking for under Buhari, and the maturity of, because at some point we now see Femi Adesina, the one issuing the statement when it concerns Atiku Abubakar. I think that was smart.
Yeah, and there were others also Femi would not go against. So there was wisdom in having two of us working for the president. So where he would not go, I would go. Where I would not go, he would go.
Well, again, one of the things that I saw that was quite interesting was see the people of your caliber, both you and Femi Adesina, both of you I know quite well. And you know my relationship with you.
Yeah, long time.
Long time. And I know Femi Adesina very well. Femi Adesina exited being the president of the guild. You have been the president of the guild
16 years earlier.
And there are those of us who think that you're perhaps more senior to Femi Adesina on the job.
Well, he did a bigger newspaper than I did. But yes, if you are talking about the guild, yes, I was there earlier than him. But our friendship also predated our being in the villa. We had been friends with Femi Adesina. When I was president of the guild, Femi was one of my hench people. So they put me there, and we worked. So we gave every assurance. People were concerned. I said that to the event is, Governor Femi called us and said, look, if people will fight. I said, no, there won't be a fight. He said he will fight. And we didn't fight. As I said, it's like two men sharing one wife, and they didn't quarrel over anything.
But how was that?
It was all right. That was respect.
Are you still good friends, huh?
Yeah, and Femi was officiating at my event yesterday at the book launch. So that tells you how close we are. And I did officiate at his own book launch. Yeah.
So you became more or less like a twin when you were working together.
Yeah.
But how is President Buhari though? We all understand that he was hospitalized recently, a few days ago. Has he been discharged?
Yes, not as intense as it was reported. He was hospitalized. Now he's being cared for. He's in a recovery mode now. And with each day he gets better. But until it is all over, you can't say it is over.
Hearts with him, and we hope that he fully recovers. Because that man looked like a brand new man after he got out of office.
He looked much better than before he became president. Yeah. That's true.
I mean, I wonder, is there something in Daura and on his farm that the man eats or feeds on that makes him look absolutely different? President Buhari is over 80 now, isn't he?
Yeah, 82.
Wow.
But he eats healthily, and he exercises regularly. See, at the farm in Daura, 4 days in a week, you did 1 to 1.5 hours of rigorous walking all around the farm. And even in the UK, when he went on the vacation and the medical check, before he fell ill, he plodded the streets, and he liked doing that. Yeah. So he exercises very well, and he eats good things that doctors will approve.
I mean, now that you are out of office, I mean, and the president is better now, what did they put in the air condition that made the president sick?
No, I'm not aware of that. Then, I'm not aware that there was anything in air conditioner that made him sick.
What made him sick? I'm being honest,
nobody took me into confidence into that.
On that?
I never had discussed what was the nature of the ailment and what caused it.
Up to now?
I'm being honest with you.
Were you able to ask him?
I have never asked him. And it was not him.
Well, he told the nation that he was very sick. That
Yeah,
he thought he was.
He said it himself.
He had lost the battle.
Yeah, but again, also, the medical health of individuals, you and I, is private, and as much as possible, we keep it private. We keep it private.
But there are a lot of suspicion in the villa at the time. That those who are close to him and the manner in which security now looked at everyone, there were a lot of suspicion. And of course, you know, as a journalist, we have our insider information.
There was nothing that wasn't said. You know that at some point it was that he had died, or he had to be replaced by Jibril of Sudan.
What about the Jibril?
Well, that's those who orchestrated the nonsense.
Because people were looking out for the ear, the left or the right ear. And,
the same one.
The same one. But what was different from the Buhari before he was sick and the Buhari that came back from treatment?
Wow, it's difficult to say. But I think that there were far more restrictions on... Because Buhari read everything. He walked very late into the night. I think after his return, there were greater controls put in place. They made sure that his engagements ended at a time that could be described as being decent. So a lot of the pressure, we at the level of officials around him, we tried to regulate all of that. Of course, there were breaches. When they said no visitors after 11 p.m., for instance, you'll still find that maybe some family members would sneak in someone, you know, from inside the compound. Or there's somebody, you know, just drops from nowhere, and they must be seen. But there were far more controls, you know, on his really having to do so much, given age and the situation he had just gone through.
How did the Cabal took over that government so badly?
No, don't look, let me tell you, this thing about Cabal is just sheer nonsense. No, but let me tell you, Buhari, is a military general, even when he became a converted Democrat. He was used to giving orders and not taking them from anybody. So I tell you that I have not known one person who will give you 100 assurance that when I tell Buhari ABC is black, he will say ABC is black. No. He had his own mind.
But there are family members who are part of the Cabals who are living permanently in the villa.
No, you could have anybody around you. People can come, they can advise you. But the buck stopped on his table. I tell you that nobody can guarantee. Call any name, I will tell you. Nobody will tell you with certainty, 100%, that if I tell Buhari ABC, he will accept. That's not the Buhari who works.
But I mean, and there are those who, and in some of the reflections you made here as to the person and the nature of the president, and I'm curious though, there were consistent accusations that the presidency under Buhari was insulated and aloof from public engagement. And as his media advisor, were you ever overruled, ignored, or cautioned against addressing the nation during crisis?
Let me tell you, leaders come with their own character and the nature of doing things into office. They cannot all be the same. People used to attack us for not presenting the president for media chat, for instance, on television. That media chat suited somebody like President Olusegun Obasanjo, who invented it, with this manner of dramatizing and theatricals and all of that. It suited him. After him, who did it suit? Certainly not President Erdogan, not President Jonathan. So, and I've said this over and over again, Buhari was never a show person. He was not a showman. And don't forget also the fact that he had his own tangle as a military leader with the media. Back then when he was military head of state. And the thing then is, when it was the media, usually Buhari would say to Iron Film, they are your people, that's their own. And he gave us respect for that. Because he didn't want what happened in 1984 to come back all over again. Certainly not, that's not what he wanted.
Because, and I'm wondering, because one will now wonder, there are those who say the president was not aware of certain key national issues at critical times. How often did this happen? And does your book reveal whether there were internal limitations to the president's control of his government?
No, absolutely zero. This is not true.
So it was full control.
I will say with all emphasis before you that President Muhammadu Buhari will be assessed, if it could be done, perhaps as the most aware president this country had.
Even though he appointed ministers, and some ministers never met him in 4 years.
No, it didn't happen with Buhari. No, it didn't happen.
I mean, I've had interviews with ministers who said, look, Buhari will allow you to do anything.
No.
And he never checked.
Presence in your office. That is what he meant. I saw that interview. Former Minister of Communications. Buhari wasn't meddlesome. He never pretended as if he owned Nigeria. He wasn't a dictator.
But why was the perception, though, that he actually helped Atiku Abubakar against a candidate Tinubu
in which respect?
In the 2023 election?
No, it is absolutely, that is, somebody must have seen that in their dream. It didn't happen. I sat with President Bola Tinubu after his victory. He told me that President Buhari allowed me to win in a free and fair election. There
was a perception of reluctance.
Don't mind people.
A perception
of people who are seeking favors, who want to ingratiate themselves to leaders. They can say all manner of things. President Buhari had everything. He had the secret service. He could say what he wanted to the governors. He allowed a free flow.
But again, Malam, there are, and I know more than 5 people who the president told to go and run.
No.
He told Oshibajo, go and run. Amechi, go and run.
He didn't direct them.
No, they consulted him that they wanted to be president, and he told them to run.
And you expect him to say, don't run?
But the people, there are a lot of people who thought that as a president.
No.
Because you remember in the interview that I had with him and my colleague, Maokwe, the president said, if I mention the person I want now, they might kill him before.
Which is true. Which is true.
But who was the president's candidate then? We sure know that it wasn't Bola Tinubu.
Each one who came before him, he gave him a certificate of no objection. You want to run? Thank you. And don't forget that even among that crowd of people who went for the primaries, there was one that he saw very close to him, and at some point he was saying, look at this thing. Everyone had come to inform me that they would run, not this one particular minister who I...
Do you know the joke that they said, Buhari's 2015 statement that I belong to everyone,
and
I
to
belong to no one.
Yeah.
That was the politics he played.
Yeah,
and a lot of people feel very aggrieved that he was not truthful to them.
No. But he played true to type. He did not seek to dictate, and he allowed he said the party will decide. We gave a statement, and it was proven there.
Which was your best? Okay.
Name droppers could have said anything, but certainly, and using his own name, but never him directly.
Speaking from the presidential villa, which was your best time? Speaking under Buhari or speaking with Atiku for Atiku?
Under Atiku, we were fighting for the political life of the boss, whose same government was trying to destroy his politics, destroy his family and his business. In the case of Buhari, okay, we were the ones who were being fought. But at least you had the structure, the infrastructure of the state to help you to fight back. So how can you compare this one that they took you to Kuje prison and they brought blood pressure to your family? How can you...
If there was one thing that you could have undone during your time speaking for presidents, what would that be?
I would have done more speaking for the president than I had. But then, as I said, at some point, there was also a sense that courtiers won't see you as being genuine, as being good enough to be where you are. This is something a challenge people at that level have to contend with.
Did you ever lie for the president?
Somebody, I just read one story, they said I was trying to lie. And this thing about spinning the rat story, I didn't lie. There was a story that rats had eaten cables in the president's office. And therefore, when I was trying to explain why the president was operating from home, I said the rats ate his cables in the office. It happened. And it was to provide a basis of discussion, at least away from that moment when people were speculating that he was not good enough to continue as president, having been ill. But it's all right. It's a spin, and it backfired. So people should learn from what we did.
Yeah. Spinning, packaging, and representing the president is not the easiest job at all.
Absolutely.
But congratulations, Madam Garba Shehu, putting this down and getting your views and your experience into a book for learning and for others to also learn from your past experience. But it's good to see you again.
Thank you for friendship.
Thank you so much indeed.
And your doggedness.
It was not the easiest one. I know I have friends in some of you who are in the villa, and I have to do countdown every day to ask, where is President Bola Tinubu? And sometimes you call me, Shehu, what are you doing? This countdown you are doing. But we have to do our job.
Yeah.
But it's good, and we can laugh afterwards. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.